Tell me why people in the alt-right and alternative media who are conservative and libertarian, people like Alex Jones, names like Mike Enoch, Jazzhands, McFeels, and Halberstram, people on social media on the right like Spectre, and just a whole host of other personalities and characters who are just stone cold conservative among the MAGA folk and crowd. Tell me why these people are a more accurate embodiment of and reflection of Christianity than those who explicitly characterize themselves as Christian or as carrying on the Christian tradition, at least in the Christian name. Tell me why that is. Tell me why it is that these people on the right with conservative core solid principles, free speech, libertarian and otherwise non-degenerate principles, are contemned, despised by the so-called moderate mainstream of the society, as reflected ostensibly in the media and various non-governmental organizations like academic institutions that are public, and so forth and so on. Big business, which is tied at the hip with the administrative state through public-private partnerships and various other regulatory kind of give and take. Tell me why these people, these mostly young people who are absolutely outcast by the mainstream, considered as outcasts and despised, condemned, hated by the so-called mainstream. Tell me why it is that these people are a better example to the rest of us and the youth, and frankly to other people, foreigners and whatnot. Tell me why they're better representation of Christianity than people who call themselves Christian. It is a quirky phenomenon. It is quite idiosyncratic and it's unique that these people on various points of the ideological and political spectrum, who are in some cases unintentionally, in many cases unintentionally, and in some cases unconsciously ascribing their value set to the core principles of the ancient, righteous, civilization building tradition of Christianity. And the people such as mainline Protestant evangelicals who profess to be Christian but are, like their political counterparts, doing so and existing in name only. Just they are only nominal representations of what it is to be conservative in the case of political, or Christian in terms of the religious aspect. Only nominally so are they what they profess to be. They're fake. So you've got a bunch of fakers professing to be Christians who are like Judas, associated with Jesus, but betraying his principles and him, and ultimately anybody who follows them. And on the other hand, you have these unintentional acolytes of the Messiah out here braving this metaphysical world, this like disaster area of postmodern, post-structural, deconstructed, traditional European identity politics world, post-Christian world, anti-Christian world. They're braving this terrain, this ideological terrain, this metaphysical terrain, in defiance of the prevailing norms, the mainstream norms, which inform the mainline Protestant, evangelical, and Catholic so-called Christian traditions, especially that of the elders. You know who you are. You have these unintentional, somewhat in many cases unconscious acolytes of the Christ Messiah doing the Lord's work and being not only condemned, not only despised, but betrayed by those who profess the same faith. Tell me why that is. Does anyone have a good explanation for this phenomenon, in which case one may only find the morals and character of Christianity in an off the beaten path, alternative route kind of place, and the same kind of place where major establishment politicians, I won't name names, are absolutely engaging in the most vicious kind of polemics and vitriolic commentary to put targets on the backs of not only them themselves, these brave, courageous, indeed powerful lads. Woo. Woo, lads. Tell me why you can only find Christianity in places where it's not named as such. And tell me why wherever you look for Christianity in its name, it is a fake. That, my friends, my dearly beloved, that is the existential question of the day. Indeed, of the century. Indeed, of the millennia. The millennium, I should say. The new millennium. The 21st century. 21st century marking the turn of the new millennium. The third millennium now we are in. Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, Jesus Christ. Going on 3 millennia since there was an answer to, among other things, the you-know-who Q. That's a long time. It's a long time to beat your chest and cry out without an answer. You gotta really question yourself there. Maybe you're barking up the wrong tree. Nevertheless, I appreciate myself personally. I appreciate the efforts of the libertarian, especially blood and soil libertarian, conservative, new media personalities and other people on the ideological spectrum beside them, because it is revolutionary and they are exposing things that have been assumed and which are incorrect. And that is edifying everyone. Cheers.